Superman takes flight, DC's yearly output schedule released, franchise reboot news, and so much more on this episode of Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, is Jake Holtzclaw. Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just admire that intro there, man.
It
Something
looks
about it.
good.
It's second week in a row. Worked every time. Like people at my work pointed out last episode that I did a little smirk after it was done playing because they were like, "Yeah, it worked." like that's
Dude.
they were making fun of me because that was my reaction to it.
So I don't know if I think I mentioned it somewhat last week at the start that you had designed it, and I had said that it
Yeah.
looked great, but like I cannot emphasize enough just how crisp it is
Oh,
because it's perfect.
let us know at home if it's awesome.
I want to know what it looks like for our YouTube TV watchers who are watching, not like the app,
Yeah.
but like who are watching YouTube on TV, not YouTube TV. What does it look like on the big TV? Like that 60-inch
Yeah.
you got. I want to know because I guarantee it looks sick, and I'm very, very pleased with it. So enough
Right. How
enough
are
of
you?
us. Yeah, I was about to say it's time to small talk. Enough of us being like, oh, what an intro when you made it. I'm doing good, man. I've had a pretty exciting weekend. I got to see Superman, which was
Oh,
I am happy to give my opinion on a pretty divisive in the sense of Snyder fans versus Gunn fans, and then some politicalness to it. But in the
yeah.
terms of the average everyday, there's really not much of a debate what people thought about it, and I will add my opinion to that later. But I mean, it's just I had a pretty good weekend, but I will leave it at that. Jake,
Sure.
how about you?
Uh, I had a pretty good weekend. I hung out with the girlfriend a lot. Went to the mall and dinner with the family and stuff like that. So overall, pretty good. I know we'll probably get into Superman later, but I do want an honest opinion from you. But Lex Luthor has pretty much been crowned the rage baiter of the month, just because his
Oh,
ability to make Superman, who's you know notoriously like hard to get to overreact or
yeah,
react in a negative way,
yeah,
he does it, and it's so good because he sips his coffee. And
dude.
I have not seen the movie, but I've heard things about monkeys and the way his desk flies off. Like when Superman flips his desk, he's kind of like it's nonchalant, just
Yes,
rage bait of the week.
dude, we're gonna get there. I just remembered talking about like this week and today. I did. This is the kind of day I've had. I did this. You know the thing where they're like, "Hope you enjoy your food," or like, "I'm going on." Oh, I guess this is a great way to break the news. I'm going on vacation, so you will not see me next week on Beyond the Screen. The
Oh,
first time I'm missing an episode, so you're gonna have Jake and Emily running the show. So be nice and have fun because it's going to be exciting, and I'm definitely going to be watching. So, but you will not see me here next week. But today, I was telling my coworkers, like, hey, like, I had a meeting, like, I'm going to be gone tomorrow, so get me whatever you need to get me to today, and I'm going to walk out the door. And again, that thing where they're like, have a good like meal or enjoy your movie, and you turn in like, you too. I did that exact same thing. She was like, enjoy your vacation. I was like, you too, and I stopped. And instead of just accepting it,
from me.
yeah. Instead of just like walking on and accepting it, I looked at her and I went, that's not what you said. And she looked at me, she goes, no.
No.
And then we sat there and stared for about a second and went, well, and turned and walked out the room. It was just, I made it, I left and I was like, why did I just leave? Like I made it so much worse. Like as Emily likes to do, just stupid, stupid. That's literally like me walking down the hall, like, why did I
Oh
do
man,
that
I
to myself?
honestly don't think it could have gone any better though, because I think it's funny how you called it out. It's like that's not what you said.
No,
It's just
literally, I looked at
nope.
it. I was like, "That's not what you asked me, or that's not what you said." Because I thought as I was walking out, like you know how you have those like predetermined responses, like just popped and ready to go. It's like,
Yep,
"Have a
yep.
great day." Like you too. I swear that's what she was gonna say. She went, "Have a good vacation," and I went, "You too." That's not what you said.
No,
And she
no.
was like, "No."
See, I would have probably played into it. Good vacation from me. Ha
Yeah, that would have been
ha.
so much worse. I think I was even like, I thought you were gonna say bye, like, or something like I was just at every turn I tried to be like, man, I messed that up, haha. It just made it so much worse. So eventually I was like, all right, and just left.
You have to quit. You
Yeah,
can't go
yeah,
back.
they will never see me again. Like, remember that guy that like is supposed to run our socials? Yeah, no, he got embarrassed.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
just didn't show up after that.
yeah. But on that note, one, that's how my day is gone. Two, I think that's a great way to end our small talk. And three, it's time to get into not only our box office news, but we're going to talk about Superman, which leads this week. We're going to follow that with Jurassic World, then F1, How to Train Your Dragon, and Elio. And if you remember last week, I want to go ahead and get off the top. I want to give Jake his flowers here. Jake is
My
the first
winnings.
one. When we've done the predictions about 3 or 4 weeks now, Jake early in this little series we do has predicted all five correct. So congratulations, Jake, you did it.
We just
Um,
started tracking. I guarantee you I've won the rest of them.
No, I have not. I will level with you. I did not go back and look. However, I don't think any of us have gotten it completely correct. But Jake, 1 through 5, what you see listed below and what we're about to go through, he nailed it. So give him his flowers at the very top. Starting at number 1, I think you already know it. We've alluded to it. We've said it. The first film in the James Gunn and Peter Safran DCU has officially graced our screens, and while inevitably it was divisive, fans turned out to be what is officially, the film turned out to be, excuse me, what is officially being labeled as a summer blockbuster. It's had what is the best opening for a Superman solo film ever, with 122 million here in the States. But it also beats Zack Snyder's Man of Steel by about 6 million, which that one graced in 2013, or earned, grossed, I should say, 116.7 million. So there's been a lot of discourse, as again, I alluded to it earlier. You had Snyder fans and Gunn fans kind of going back and forth all week. Gunn kind of won out on this one, and not just in money. We're going to get into actual content here in a second. Only 2 films this year have pulled in more during their opener, and that includes a Minecraft movie from Warner Brothers and Disney's Lilo and Stitch live action remake. And if you remember, those are 1 and 2 in this year's highest grossing films. Lilo and Stitch and then a Minecraft movie are the only 2 films to outgross Superman in its opening weekend. So great, great mark for DC Studios. The film also pulled in 217 million globally. Word of mouth advertising following a stellar tomato meter, which is currently at 83%, and a popcorn meter of 93%, only have helped the film to grow. So before I get into my winding spiel, because I'm going to try to make it not super long, but inevitably I'm just going to keep rambling. Jake, what do you think about Superman absolutely taking off in its first weekend? It's outdone even its highest projections thus far. We're still at estimated, so when those become confirmed, we will do what we can to make sure we get you the correct information. But Jake, what do you think about the early success for Superman?
So it being PG-13, of course, if you have an adult, get in a little younger. I think it bridges all the audiences, especially because Superman's been around for years, decades. Like this bridges a lot of generations. I don't know if it goes back to the Boomer generation, but like pretty early, like 1950, 60, like is what I'm guessing comic book wise. So Superman is, I don't know if you can consider it a household name, but like it's been around for a while. I think it helps that you got the younger audience in there, and looking at the top 5 and the ones that you've had in theaters for so long, those who are going are going to go see Superman, or How to Train Your Dragon if they haven't already seen it. I mean, it's in week 5, so the top 3 are F1, Jurassic World, and Superman. I think Superman's going to win. It just picked a good time. It's a good time, good name,
Yeah.
bridges gaps, and had arguably, I think it had good publicity, good marketing. Um, it's just one of those, like, yeah, summer blockbuster, and it just did everything right. Would I say perfect, or would I say like above and beyond? No, but they did what they're supposed to, like a movie is supposed to do with marketing and like just the overall concept,
Yeah.
and executed it. I just think that is the proper way to go about things. So, and it reflects that. I mean, you can't just ride on a name right? You can't just ride on that IP. You actually have to put the work in the time. And I don't think the trailers were bad. We talked about trailers leading up to this, like every single one of them added something without giving away anything either. I still don't know who necessarily is the big bad besides Lex. I don't know
Hmm.
what roles everybody plays and what even the arc that Superman goes through. So that's always kind of like something that I'm starting to watch for is what do the trailers tell me?
Yeah.
It's the whole movie and the whole plot. I don't really need to watch the movie. There's no point.
Right. Yeah, and we go over
Um,
trailers. How many of the trailers in the short time that we've had it as a segment that we've talked? I don't even think we've outright talked about it a ton. But how many times have we gone over what feels like entire plots of films or shows just from the trailer that we've seen?
yeah. I have edited together 10 to 15 seconds of a trailer and told the whole movie.
Yeah.
Um, So I don't remember which one that was actually, but I've done it before, and it was just like I watched the whole movie while editing that trailer.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. It's like I want to know if that's like a thing everybody's pushing for, like a common thing in Hollywood, or if that's just certain that one. Maybe it's just one editor who does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I
Well,
think Superman did everything right, and it somewhat shows. Chose the right dates.
yeah.
You know, like that's a big deal coming out your first week when Jurassic World hit.
Yeah.
Its second. How to Train Your Dragon is on its fifth. F1's on its third. It's just the right time.
And it's like that for 2 weeks. Like, yes, there's a lot of movies that come out next week, but it doesn't have to deal with another blockbuster type until Fantastic Four at the end of the month. So
Right.
this is,
Got a
yeah,
horror and a comedy coming out, which
yeah.
aren't going to be
They're not going to compete.
right.
And this is what I'll say is going on the marketing is that like the trailer, because you make such a good point. They did such a good job of establishing the feel of the film. I had no idea it was going to feel just like that until, because a lot of times it's not.
Right.
Um, Without giving away, I had no idea the story. You're so right. You have no idea how little you actually know. There's a lot of good plots. The film. Before I get into my quick dissection of it, it cost 225 million to make. The film right now is sitting at 217 million earned, estimated, and it could be at 220 according to sources without fully finished counts. So this is a successful endeavor, and I'm very happy to say it's a successful endeavor because now, having seen it on opening weekend, it is beautiful, and it's beautiful in a way that is like, it's just, I've seen everyone saying everywhere, if it's hope. Like, it's weird how a film can do that and art can do that to you. And like the meme is that like, oh, it's like a giant syringe into someone's chest and it's like a cartoon guy and he's like, oh, but it's like in the syringe they have written hope. And that's what it feels like. When you watch that film, it's just like David Corn's
Well,
what
is
David
that not what Superman
well,
is
Henry
like his
Cavill
S, right?
Henry Cavill was a godlike serious creature who was more he didn't really like, yes, he stood up for all things good, but he was so much more bitter and he was so much more quiet. So there was a lot that went into Cavill that was more serious. And so yes, you got that hope a little bit, but it was more he was like a god amongst men who did not understand humanity. That's a big way I've seen described Henry Cavill, which it worked. It was great. It was a really interesting dynamic that we had never seen from Superman before. That's what made it interesting, and that's what made Cavill stand out because he was able to kind of play both. But it was still serious enough that you felt like, and when you play into the God trope, he's not you anymore. You can't relate to him. Corin Sweat, his character is so vulnerable. Superman is beatable, but he's not. You see him be able to overcome these things. He gets kicked in the teeth and he feels it. And it's just, it is so, the best part about it is, and there are some critiques that I will say that I will kind of counteract, not in terms of actual substance, but in terms of how I felt about it, because I don't want to spoil it. I think the best thing that it does is it doesn't start at the beginning. You'd get dropped 3 years after Superman became Superman. So he has already been established. Everyone knows who he is. And
Well, what I meant by the his S on his chest means hope in
oh
Kryptonian.
no, yes, it does. Yes, that
Yes.
is a fact. But the point that I'm saying is that like you didn't really get to feel that. It's like Superman under Zack Snyder was not a feel good story. Think about
Right.
how Man of Steel ended. He snapped the neck of the only other Kryptonian he knew to
Yeah.
save a human in her or their family. Like this is so far removed from that. Everything about it, Corin Sweat plays the goody two shoes Christian farmer from Kansas who just wants to do good and does not understand why people don't get why he does what he does. It plays into it pulls in themes of real world politics without getting political in a way that is understandable and digestible. So it felt super relatable and down to earth from a think about how whimsy the world is. The story felt down to earth and understandable. It did not just feel understandable, it felt relatable. Corn Sweat felt like you could approach him. He played Soups perfect. Like this literally, I've seen it described two ways, and the second way is how James Gunn said he was approaching it and what his inspirations were for it. One, it felt like it was comic book come to life, and I think that's true. The only other film that made me feel that way was Puss in Boots because of the art, but this one genuinely felt like a comic book story that just was on screen. And secondly, James Gunn took inspiration from the 90s Superman the Animated Show, which is renowned. People love it. And it feels like an episode from that. And so it is so beautiful. Corn Sweat does so good. Holt, you talk about rage baiter, his hate, his cowardice. Like, he is so smart and he's so accomplished that he feels so scary, even though he's just a normal man. Like, he really does. Like, it's something that I feel like fails a lot is Luthor is supposed to not just only be one of the most intelligent humans on the planet, he's supposed to be a being that understands comprehensions that are beyond his species, right? Like, he is one of the most intelligent creatures in the galaxy. That is Lex Luthor. You feel that. You see that. And you see how smart he is, and that's why he is a match for Superman. That's why they fight. And that's why like you feel like he can beat him. And it's just so the critiques that I have seen, and there's only two that I really know about hugely outside of like getting political, which I think that's unfounded. The first one is people felt like there were too many characters. I didn't at all. I felt like the inclusion of Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and Hot Girl are the only other three main characters. You do see Metamorpho, which you'll see him. I won't describe how he shows up. But the main other heroes that you see outside of Superman are those three. And I felt like they were there to grow the universe around him. So they play into this theme of like, and I love this idea, metahumans. They call Superman a metahuman. So it's almost like mutants, right? Like think about
the Flash is a metahuman.
Yeah. Right. So like that's something that like think about. We didn't really see that in the Zack Snyder. Right. So like I love the idea that like the way that they portray it is Superman might be the toughest or like one of the most powerful of all of them, but they're everywhere. And when they pop up, you're not shocked by it because you were told. And they show just how vast this universe is for a story just beginning. For this film being the Iron Man of DCU, where it's the jumping off point for so many more stories, to have those characters in there to help Superman to be kind of like, so Guy Gardner, I know everyone has seen the Nathan Fillion, his interviews where he's talking about how Guy Gardner's the last Green Lantern you want to have show up, right? He's so morally ambiguous versus Superman's straight moral values that even though they're fighting for the same things, it is so unique to see the dichotomy between the two characters. So they go back and forth from time to time about how to handle a situation when they're on the same side. That is such an interesting back and forth that you hear from them, and you see kind of their morals. I felt like I've seen it from a couple of outlets that it's too packed, too many people. Wrong. I don't think it was. I felt like they were there and they served their purpose. I felt like it was beautiful. The other thing is that there was too much story and that it does move a little quick. I felt like it never missed a beat, but it does move fast because Gunn, this is the thing that I was impressed with the most, is that Gunn not only shows off just how much he understands about the characters he's talking about, but he doesn't think the audience is dumb. He says, you get it. He says, you know how this is. I'm not going to insult your intelligence. You know how these stories start. We're just going to move past that. And he does it in such a way that it feels so right. There are a few things that could have been developed a little bit. I can't get into now because it would spoil a bunch. It's just a few things that happen that are kind of plot twists that you're like, man, or like big plot points that you're like, I wish I could have seen how that happened instead of it just being a thing. But they're not that big of a deal because you get it. It's like, okay, like I wish I could have seen instead of just being told, but that's okay. Like I can get over that. So when the final credits roll and you see this arc that this man's been on, you feel that hope. This is the comic book Superman. This is the goody two shoes, the Boy Scout that he gets made fun of for. But it is so beautiful. Like it's like for a guy who's supposed to be like a Kryptonian, right? He is the most human character I've seen on screen in a long time. And it is just in that way, it's dare I say, I've said it a couple times already, but dare again, I say beautiful. it's just, I don't know. I'm not going to say perfect because it had its moments. You know, it's not the best film I've ever seen. But in terms of getting a character or an actor to be known as a character, in terms of starting an entire arc of stories, a unified story, right? Like that is going to be the DC universe. This is perfect for that. So
Awesome.
I loved it. If I had to give it, what are we rating? 5 or 10? Are we going out of 5 or out of 10?
Popcorn meter.
Popcorn meter. I
No,
would
the Ryan meter.
the Ryan
The
meter.
beyond
Okay,
the screen,
the gummo meter.
the gum meter. Gummometer.
Gummo meter. I
We'll
would
come up
give
with
it.
something.
Yeah, we'll come up with a better name. I would give it an 85. I
Okay.
would. It is a good movie. I want to see it again. I would say anybody can understand it and follow it and have a good time. It is so comic book accurate without insult. Like it does again, and I'm gonna keep harping on how it's played because it doesn't give you too much to where if you're not a comic book reader, you're not gonna get it. But it also doesn't give you. It doesn't spoon feed you too much to insinuate that you know nothing. It's right there in the middle to say, look, I'm not going to insult your intelligence. You know what's happening, but also here is this person. So you follow it because I'm not a big, like, Mr. Terrific stole the show. He's one of the greatest characters in the movie. I don't really know a lot about Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
Unless you're a seasoned comic book, like, reader.
Right.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I am, we're going to move on from this. But I cannot say enough. Like, again, you're not going to go into it saying this is the best movie I've ever watched. You're not going to go into it saying this is the best comic book movie I've ever watched. You're just not. But you're going to love it. If you watch it just for it being what it is. If you don't try to add political agendas to it, regardless of which side, right? If you don't try to see it Gunn versus Snyder, because they're not. Snyder's dead. Gunn's making the movie. The Snyderverse is dead, not Snyder. The Snyderverse is dead. You can enjoy this. Is the other thing too. You can enjoy Man of Steel and Superman. They're the same. Like you can enjoy them for what they are. You can enjoy Cavill's serious take and Corn Sweat's comic book take. They're both awesome. You do not have to hate one or the other. Anyway, I've seen that a lot. I disagree with it being overfilled. I don't think the story arc's too complicated. I don't think that it moves too fast. I think it's perfect for what it needs to be. Anyway, moving on in our box office at long last, we're at number 2, Jurassic World Rebirth. In its second weekend in theaters, Universal sequel Dino Adventure continues to pull in impressive numbers, earning another $40 million domestically. This brings its domestic total up to $232.1 million and its global tally to $529.5 million. While not a small dip in ticket sales, it dropped 57% from last week, which is not great. That is a pretty steep decline. The film still tracks to cross the $550 million mark. Only 5 other films have done that so far this year, with one of them about to be talked about in a couple minutes. So great run for Jurassic World Rebirth, even if that one's even a little bit more divisive in terms of scores, because people love it, people hate it, whatever. Finishing third is F1 the movie. Apple's first cinematic hit brings in another $13 million domestically in its third weekend in theaters. This brings its totals up to $136.2 million domestically and $393.3 million globally. And now fourth is How to Train Your Dragon. This is one of our 5. It crossed the $550 million mark after earning another $7.8 million in its 5th weekend in theaters. Still a pretty strong outing for a 5th week. It is holding on to the top 5. It will not be in the top 5 next week. I hate to break it to you, Jake. But thus far, 5 weeks, top 5 still. It has crossed the $550 million mark. Great job for Universal and How to Train Your Dragon. And rounding out the top 5 is Elio, which just now reaches a month in theaters. It feels like it's been there forever. This is Pixar's a rare dud from the legendary animation studio. It continues its shoestring grip on the box office top 5. More than likely, again, this will be the last time we see this film in the top 5. It is not going to survive next week. After pulling in another $3.9 million domestically, its total earnings have reached $63.7 million in the States and $117 million globally, which are not good numbers for a film that cost around $250 million to produce. So, ugh. In other news around the box office, 28 years later, finally drops out of the top 5, and Megan absolutely dive bombs down the box office, landing at 9th this week. Last week, it was top 5. So Huge drop from Megan 2.0. And Jake, again, you were absolutely right with last week's prediction. Time for this week's prediction. This upcoming Friday, July 18th. So we'll talk about it next week, or you guys will talk about it next week. We will see released I Know What You Did Last Summer, a new Smurfs animated flick starring Rihanna, John Goodman, Octavia Spencer, Kurt Russell, and a lot more, which is crazy for a Smurfs movie. That is a stacked lineup. And
Right.
Ari Aster's Eddington, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal. Jake, as always, go first. Who do we think will
Oh, man.
will
I
lead
was
the box
hoping you'd
office
give me
next
a
week?
little bit more to go off of, or a little bit more time to think it through.
Do you want me to
Um,
go first?
no, I can wing it. I can wing it. I'm just not going to be happy when I lose.
I better hear
Um,
about it on vacation.
well, you know when we post. So I I got Superman at 1. I think it's a given. Um, it really is for 2 and 3. I think I can't doubt the Smurfs. I can't doubt the demographic. Um, but I'm gonna put Jurassic before it. I really don't know if if Smurfs is gonna pull in the audience.
Dude, those family friendly they have run the box office this year, man.
I don't know. I might regret that. I think those are like flip flop maybe, but I'll stick with Jurassic at 2, Smurfs at 3, and then I think the horror is going to hit 4. I think I Know What You Did Last Summer is going to be 4th. It's gonna beat out How to Train Your Dragon on its 6th, and then I'm going to get an upset here. Those of you who don't know, about Jujutsu Kaisen. They are coming out with their hidden inventory movie from last or from for this year, I guess. So it's been on Crunchyroll or Netflix or wherever I think that's where you can watch it. On Crunchyroll for sure. It's coming to theaters actually Wednesday. I think it'll be top 5 flopping with How to Train Your Dragon. It's going to be either of those two. I think How to Train Your Dragon might be able to hold top 5.
Yeah.
Um, and then I don't think Eddington, which is a
Wow.
comedy, is going to be top 5.
Wow.
Yeah,
The doubt on Ari Aster's name here.
I don't think it can pull the numbers we're going to see next week.
Interesting. So I'm actually going to myself do some flip flopping on what you have. I love your upset pick. I know we had talked about it a little bit beforehand, but I never would have thought you would have put them in the top 5. So I'm impressed you have the confidence to do that.
I think it's big enough in terms of, I mean, For You pages are going to hype you up because
Yeah.
it's your For You page and it's nobody else's. But I feel like it's one of the top watched ones. It is so mainstream. I think people are going to go see it.
Yeah. I respect it. I will not go Jujutsu Kaisen. In fact, I'm going to go Eddington, but not where you might think.
All
Well,
right.
actually,
So start at the top.
probably exactly where you think.
Okay.
Superman's going to come out number 1. If
Yep.
it drops by 50%, it's still going to be number 1. There's no doubt about
Yeah,
that.
I was saying it would be 60 million minimum
Yeah,
is what I was thinking it would be.
easy. Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's a chance with word of mouth it might go a little higher than that.
could be.
Second, I'm gonna say because of how impactful the family-friendly genre is, there isn't another. The last couple of family-friendly releases we saw, it was Lilo and Stitch, How to Train Your Dragon, and Elia were all in theaters together, and I think that kind of like that they all pulled from the same demographic, so their numbers weren't quite as high. Elia was obviously not successful at all because it's not a great movie according to critics and reviews. I'm actually going to say the Smurfs benefits from not having that to deal with because it doesn't. Like
Mhm.
Superman is a family friendly film, sure, but it doesn't pull the same exact demographic. So I'm going to say Smurfs is going to come in second, and you're going to see Jurassic drop to 4, or sorry, to 3. Then I'm going to say, are people
Eddington or the
still
horror.
watching? Are people still watching? Okay, are people going to be more interested in Pedro Pascal or I Know What You Did?
It's up to you.
I'm going Eddington 4
Wow.
and then I Know What You Did.
Okay.
Now, that is a little bit of a upset on my end because I feel like I Know What You Did Last Summer has a pretty cult following from the original.
Mm.
However, I think the Pedro Pascal train will outdo, and this is probably hindsight bias, but I think it will outdo the cult following of I Know What You Did. I just think that people are more in line to watch an Ari Aster and we're not even talking about Joaquin Phoenix. Like this is
Yeah.
also, and the point of that story, this is where it might hurt it, is the plot. Not because the plot's bad, but the plot is about
Political.
it's an election during COVID, and it's like
Yeah.
mask mandates were a big deal in the plot line. So it's now, will people go and see that? I think people will see it for Pedro. It is a comedy. It's supposed to be a little bit of a drama, but it's mostly a comedy. It's interesting to see Ari Aster step back from the horror genre. I know his last one, which also had Joaquin Phoenix, Beau is Afraid, wasn't quite a spooky film either. So he's further deviating from that. I just think with a director with that name and with the stars it has, I think it will outdo I Know What You Did. But it would be close. I think Smurfs will come second because it's going to capitalize on a demographic that doesn't currently have a film dedicated to it singularly right now. And that's where I will leave mine. So to recap before we end the segment, Jake is saying Superman will come 1, Jurassic will come 2nd, Smurfs 3, I Know What You Did Last Summer 4, and Jujutsu Kaisen will come 5. I'm predicting Superman will be 1, Smurfs 2, Jurassic 3, Eddington 4, and I Know What You Did 5. We'll be back. Well, Jake will be back next week, and I trust he'll be honest and he'll tell me if I won.
No.
Good. Well, fine then. I'll keep track. But
No, it's all right. I will.
come back next week to see exactly who won this week's prediction. And that, my friends, will end our segment. So, coming up after the break, DC's yearly output schedule, Larry David's next project revealed, and Rian Johnson talks Wake Up, Dead Man, coming up next. Do you guys like that one? You guys like that one? We're making changes out here to be on the screen, huh?
Yeah.
Jake, that was fellas, I think that was a success.
It was. Thank you, Ryan, for pressing the button.
Oh, you're very welcome. Oh yeah, Emily's on vacation this week. So
sorry.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
She's enjoying her best life away from us.
Yeah, that's probably why you're seeing me stutter on words, is because I'm also trying to make sure I'm hitting the right button. So I'm like, and then Joaquin, and I'm looking down. So we miss you, Emily. I wanted to say that right out the gate, but it didn't happen because we got talking about my awkward interaction. But anyway, I'm directing, so forgive me. But
we miss you desperately. Emily.
Yeah, your work is missed.
Unmatched.
Anyway, we're going to start segment 2, sticking around in the realm of DC. As they are going to reestablish major characters with a yearly output goal of 2 live-action films, multiple live-action shows, and an animated, or live-action movies, I should say, and an animated show before reuniting them for a Justice League film, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. So it seems like the animated films are going to correlate and they're going to cross into live action. So these characters that you might first see in animation more than likely are going to pop up in live action some point down the line. So characters that we know are being discussed are Wonder Woman and Batman. We know we're getting a Green Lantern Corps show with Nathan Fillion. All these things are going to coalesce into one giant movie. So you might be asking again, how'd you get this information? Well, as said in the lead-in, the Wall Street Journal had this giant report over what's going on in DC Studios right before the release of Superman. And it makes me feel like that was almost a leak, because that was way too close, and that hypes up a lot of stuff for that to release the week of their first movie coming out. So anyway.
There was a point.
There was a point.
It was all part of the plan.
Yeah, somebody had an idea when they did that, and it was definitely purposeful. So, a plethora of insights were given into what the production house sees as successful in terms of not just Superman, but every movie moving forward. But we're going to focus on Superman just for right now. Superman needs to gross 500 million globally, which it currently is in line to do, for Warner Brothers and DC to see the film as successful. Gunn is also rumored to already be expanding the universe by looking into adding TV spinoffs for fan favorite characters from Superman, or Mr. Terrific, and reporter Jimmy Olsen, which you guys, for those who haven't seen it, you'll know why when you do see it. However, before Superman released, leading up to what is now being called a massive win for Warner Brothers and DCU, former executives attempted to make the biggest play in what could have been cinema history back in 2017 by trying to pull MCU boss Kevin Feige from Disney. Those talks stalled out, and Feige decided to stay. But what's interesting to me is the guy took the meeting. He sat in that chair. And I think that says enough about Kevin Feige, because if you're think about 2017, you're building up to Endgame, right? Like you're not quite at the end of, phase 3? And you're taking meetings following 2017 is right after Justice League, the colossal failure that is Justice League. You're now taking meetings from the enemy? That's what I read that as. That caught my eye. And not so much that, of course, DC and Warner Brothers are smart to try to pull him.
Yeah.
But the guy was accepting the call.
I mean, maybe he's just trying to get more money from Disney or get a reason to be fired or get severance or something.
The guy has led, it could also be the guy's led Marvel since like 2000. So it could have been at that point, he's like, I'm approaching 2 decades. Like maybe I should get another challenge, but he decided to stay. Following this, Warner Brothers head David Zaslav met with Dwayne Johnson about him potentially leading the franchise and the DCU to new heights ahead of the release of his film Black Adam, only for Black Adam to also flop, and they did not go with Dwayne Johnson. So you could see what's interesting about the report is you could see the direction Warner Brothers and David Zaslav were freaking out. They were trying to find any way to save their fledgling franchise. Started with Feige, went to Johnson. Johnson's movie failed. They said, nah. Following that, right before James Gunn was hired, Zaslav then canceled what is called a too woke take on Superman from writer Ta-Nehisi Coates, and what was going to be produced by J.J. Abrams before officially hiring Gunn and Safran. So the story was going to follow a black Superman in the civil rights era. That got canceled. They said, nah. They were going to pull J.J. Abrams. He was attached to produce. Gunn has stated that Coates' script could be used for an Elseworlds project, which is really cool that these types of stories have room to be told without impacting and trying to fit it into some odd places in the overarching story that he's trying to tell. So Gunn gets hired after that movie was canceled. It was announced it was going to happen. It was in development. And then Zaslav said, no, it's not. And now Gunn is saying it could potentially happen. Gunn then shelved a third Gal Gadot starring Wonder Woman 3 that was set in the present, before now finally getting to where we are with David Corenswet starring as Superman. So, looking ahead, Gunn and Safran look to have 1 animated and 2 live-action films a year, with TV shows going straight to HBO Max. The culmination of all this will again lead to a Justice League film with Corenswet's Supes, Wonder Woman, and Batman, of which we know the last 2 are being developed. So, and that's all repeating, but I wanted to make sure we knew where we were at. What are our thoughts on the winding road? Because all Wall Street Journal did was take probably a leaked report to show how they got to where they were. Because if anything, that just shows how successful this film is to go, like to think about it's a pinball machine just bouncing back and forth trying to find somebody to take the reins to save this thing. They bring in Gunn and Safran. Now we're here with a successful outing with Supes. Give me your thoughts.
That leaked report just happened to show up at the top of an inbox. The thing was not leaked.
Most definitely.
At all.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But I look forward to seeing this. I don't know, like another try, we'll give another run at it, I guess. I think it's so funny how it'll all lead up to another Justice League movie.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me that they're trying to just do another MCU, right? And it may be successful, like their first, like with Superman, their first movie. Can they keep the momentum going on the next one? And how you're talking about with the animated, and then you're gonna, I don't know how that's gonna play out because I don't know if people wanna see, animated, in terms of like, in this sense, I guess. Did you say what the animated were, or do we know that yet?
We know a few. I can't think of them off the
Batman
top of
or
my head. The Creature Commandos. That one is
okay.
canon. Um,
Yep.
like there are other films that have already happened. So like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, which was before
Yeah.
he was hired as DC's head.
Right.
That one is canon.
Yeah.
In fact, you may or may not see because in that film Flag, sorry if
Yeah.
you've not seen it from 4 or 5 years ago, he dies in Suicide Squad. We see his
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
So we may or might not see his dad already and know who he is. So
Right.
that is canon that he's dead. So I am intrigued to see in Creature Commandos. I'm pretty sure Flag Senior is in Creature Commandos. So I'm intrigued.
Huh.
I think we've already kind of seen the crossover a little bit, and I think it's working.
Yeah.
Um, I'm more interested again. Wait, I'm going to back up actually because you did say something that I'm just now remembering, and it's crossing my mind again. I don't necessarily think they're trying to be the MCU, because the idea of like the Justice League, that's the whole point. Even in the comics, it's like they come together at some point. There's some intergalactic threat that the entire team needs to come together for. It does feel very MCU like because the MCU did it so perfectly, at least for 3 phases. Something that I had seen in an interview with Gunn is that he's not trying to make the MCU. So there's not one giant overarching plan. There might be like kind of like ideas, but each film is its own unique take, and they're going to be interconnected somehow. And I think that maybe what he means by that is when he's writing, he has an idea of like how to connect them, but he's not going, okay, this is going to go here, and then that's going to, like, he doesn't have a central story that each of them have to play a part in. He is focusing entirely on each project as it comes and then
Mhm.
making it work later.
'Cause we've got a Clayface body horror
Yeah.
coming up too. That's like one of the next ones he's coming out with.
Next year is
Uh,
Supergirl.
yeah.
That is the next one. But I'm excited for the
Mhm.
Clayface.
So that one's gonna be fun. But and then we've got uh Batman 2, but I don't know if that's gonna be the same Batman. I doubt it. I think
No,
separate.
Brave and the Bold. I think that it,
Pattinson.
it was confirmed that Pattinson was in Elseworlds.
Okay.
So the Brave and the
Gotcha.
Bold, which is what is currently, Gunn has a way of changing titles.
Yeah.
Superman was supposed to be called Legacy, and Supergirl was supposed to be called Woman of Tomorrow, and both of them are just not that anymore. So who
Okay. Well,
who knows what Batman will actually be? But it's right now called the Brave and the Bold, and that one's supposed to be an entirely different Batman than Robert Pattinson.
I think it's too close to call standing at the beginning of the road looking down, the barrel, but it I mean, does it have potential to be a generational run? I mean, yeah, everything does
Yeah.
until it doesn't. So I just thought it was funny. I pointed out it's just I can't believe it all just leads back to a Justice League movie.
Yeah. Something has to be said too is that there is a specific, like, when Gunn is talking about this universe, he said something really unique in that every film will have its own genre. Like there might be some that have the same genre, but like the next one you see, Supergirl's not going to be like Superman. And then
Right.
Clayface is in the same universe. It's not going to be like Superman.
Right.
I think Nathan Fillion was talking about Guy Gardner's return in the Lantern Corps, and he was like, "I've never dropped more f bombs in a project in my career."
Awesome.
And that doesn't happen in Superman. Like that's not something that happens. And so it's like it's
Yeah.
really like, so I worry that the people, the casual audience goer who's not really caring for those interviews, they're going to go into the next project being like, "Oh, Supergirl, Superman was awesome." And it's just going to be a lot more dramatic, and it's going to be different. And they're going to be like, "This isn't what I signed up for," because they wanted what they felt in the last one. Because
We're gonna
again,
see a Megan 2.0.
yeah. They literally had Superman. They didn't think they had Superman. They literally have Superman.
Yeah,
But
and now they're gonna change the genre and see if it works, and
yeah,
we've seen it not work before.
until that becomes mainstream, like more mainstream than that, because right now, not everyone follows Screen Rant, not everyone follows Film Seal, not everyone follows Discussing Film, IGN, Rotten Tomatoes. The list goes on and on. They don't follow those outlets, and that's where those comments are coming from. So
Yeah.
until that becomes common knowledge, which I think it will at some point, I think you're going to see some of the next few that are not exactly like Superman. They're gonna see some pushback. But anyway, I think that all that to say, we went a lot of different places because the DCU is in a lot of different places right now. There's a lot of
Right.
unknowns, and there's a lot they're juggling right now. But what a first start. What a way to go for the first entry in the Gunn Safran era of DC. So, up next, we have some interesting news at HBO Max. Larry David has revealed his upcoming project following Curb Your Enthusiasm, which will be a sketch comedy show at HBO Max with Barack Obama.
Huh.
I bet you didn't know that was coming for our audio listeners, huh?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama is going to be.
Second time he's made an appearance on the podcast.
Yeah. Why does he keep coming back?
I don't know.
Obama. Yeah. That guy, the former president, is working with Larry David on his follow-up to Curb. So thus far, the series is untitled, but will be a half-hour limited series written by Larry David, I should say, and Curb Your Enthusiasm co-writer Jeff Schaefer. The series will have a, quote, noteworthy guest stars and is produced by Obama's production house Higher Ground, which I did not know that was his. They had a deal almost exclusively with Netflix for a long time. No longer. They're branching out to HBO, and they're working with Larry David. So, HBO has ordered for production of the entire series that will focus on American history with the logline of, quote, President and Mrs. Obama wanted to honor America's 250th anniversary and celebrate the unique history of our nation on this special occasion. But then Larry David called.
Okay.
I guess if it stars Larry David, that's probably all you need, because he kind of operates in that weird area. So David states, quote, once Curb ended, I celebrated with a 3-day foam party. After a violent allergic reaction to the suds, I yearned to return to my simple life as a beekeeper, harvesting organic honey from the wildflowers in my meadow. Alas, what a day my bees mysteriously vanished. And so it is with a heavy heart that I return to television, hoping to ease the loss of my beloved hive. That is the official quote he gave to outlets.
He's beekeeping age.
He's beekeeping age. Yeah, that's exactly what he is. Obama added, quote, I've sat across the table from some of the world's most difficult leaders and wrestled with some of our most intractable problems. Nothing has prepared me for working with Larry David.
Crazy.
So
crazy to be compared to Putin and Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, I've sat across from dictators and difficult leaders, and then there's Larry. But anyway, with all that, it just seems so out of nowhere. This is so random. I had to read the title of this story from Deadline like 4 times, because I was like, Barack Obama, this isn't right. This is about Barack Obama, right? No, it has Barack Obama in it. So are we excited for this?
Oh yeah. Geez, I'm reading some of the comments here. Well, look, Larry David managed to not be irritating for like 60 something years. That's a really good stretch for a famous person.
Oh no.
So anyway, but yeah, this is going to be, I don't think it's going to be crazy big, but it's definitely going to have some clippable moments. I'm sure we'll see online. I don't know what does a sketch comedy show, like, what does that mean? Can you give me an example, Ryan, or what does that mean?
Sketch comedies, like, every episode is just a different, it's almost like a day in the life but it's like, it's meant to just show absurd scenarios, have weird interactions. It's like sketch comedy. Like each episode they're sketching a new story, but it's supposed to be one-offs. They're supposed to be like not connected. Like maybe a little bit.
Key and Peele
is
what comes up.
Think that is exactly.
Okay.
Like absurd scenarios, absurd situations, but more like snapshots in the day of the life of. So like Curb Your Enthusiasm is a sketch comedy, but it's like it's Larry David just playing Larry David, just in his. But again, the stories aren't connected, but it's supposed to insinuate just his life. So it's like that's what we're gonna see. But you ask a great question, because it's like, how is this gonna be about American history?
Like, do you think Obama's just going to play Obama in all of them?
Oh, yes. Has to be. You've got Michelle and Barack in there. They're just going to be themselves.
Great. I don't know. How many episodes? This is a series?
It's a series. A whole season.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They've got to have something cooking. I don't see how this could be more than 5.
See, my question becomes like, is this going to be like, so I'm trying to think, have you ever seen, and this is such a niche internet reference, have you ever seen Puppet History on Watcher?
I've heard of Puppet History.
So it's by the two BuzzFeed dudes, Shane Madej and Ryan Bergara. That's what I think. But the thing is that it's not necessarily sketch comedy. It's kind of, but it's like, how do you tell something historical without, like, I imagine like the infographics and I imagine like the silly little doodles and I imagine, but that's not what it's going to be because it's going to be like Curb. But I just like, I'm having a tough time. It just doesn't make sense. Sketch comedy, American history. Like, how do they, it's almost
It's
like,
gonna be telling of American
I
history.
don't know. That would be funny if it's like Larry David as George Washington crossing the Delaware. But like,
Yeah, but
how does
when's
Barack
Obama
Obama come in
come
there?
in?
Yeah.
That makes me worried.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what this feels like? You know when you have like two of the same sides of a magnet and you go to like push them together like as a kid and they like fly like this? That's what it feels like I'm trying to do with these two genres. Sketch comedy and history. It's like,
How about these two people?
yeah, Larry David and Barack Obama. Like
It's pretty odd.
the dude who would sit on the White House lawn every March and predict the NCAA basketball schedule is now supposed to be in a sketch comedy with Larry David. It's just hard to believe. Like I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say Barack Obama is not funny. I've seen several times where Barack Obama is one of the funniest guys in the room.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be. Uh, it's too close to. It's too early, man. It's too early.
I'm worried because I just don't like until I see it. It's so original and it's so out of the box that I don't know what to expect, and that concerns me. Because
Right.
well, when you have a guy who is literally a former president and as polarizing of a political environment as we're in now, it's like it's almost fear of it even coming out because you know it's just going to be divisive. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. So
Which isn't Larry more left leaning anyway?
I think
Doesn't he speak up
probably.
sometimes?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued, and I have some concerns, but it's more worries about I don't know the everything surrounding it, less so much about like what's actually going to come out.
I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. How do we do this? Anyway, any final thoughts?
I have none.
In our final story, we'll go ahead and move on of our second segment. Rian Johnson comments on Wake Up Dead Man, promising a return to form for the third installment into the Knives Out franchise. So this one is one I know, Jake, you're pretty excited for. You look forward to. You watch both. You have some pretty strong opinions about both. So we'll get
Yeah.
into we'll get into what Johnson said and then describe what we expect from the third installment. So, when speaking with the Rolling Stone, director and creator Rian Johnson describes the third installment's tone as, quote, gothic. Sorry, hold on, give me a second. There we go. For our visual watchers. Johnson continues, quote, the film has a much more grounded tone. It's more similar to the first one in that way. It kind of gets back to the real origins of the genre, which predating Agatha Christie go back to Edgar Allan Poe. When asked why he switched the tone of the series in the second installment, Johnson described how he always maintains a goal of keeping a story, or even a series, fresh with each installment. Further describing how, quote, when I end up chasing, or what I end up chasing, is the experience of each of these things. It's not necessarily where I'm going to flip and do a totally different tone, but after 3 years of working on something that has a particular tone, it's like you've been eating the same thing for lunch every day for 3 years. When asked if he would continue making installments into the franchise with Netflix, Johnson felt pretty ecstatic as to where the franchise is currently and was open to the concept if the right story came along. So, what we also know about the franchise, in the third installment specifically, is that it was recently announced that Wake Up Dead Man will be kicking off the 69th annual BFI London Film Festival this October. So usually that spot is held for, I've been reading historically, it's not been the greatest film, but then in recent years it's been slowly increasing. So they've had some really high caliber films kick off the festival. And now they have Wake Up Dead Man filling that slot for this upcoming October. So while plot details are still scarce, what do we think about Johnson's comments regarding the third installment and overall franchise as a whole?
Um, I look forward to it just because he's saying it's going to be different from the first and the second. So something new is always intriguing. Um, I don't think the second one did very well in my opinion. I don't think it was that good as the first one. I loved the first one, but the second one was just kind of like, dude, I could barely follow it. It was just not my cup of tea. So I have high hopes for this one, being a gothic and the way that that the first trailer that we showed um, panned out. I have no idea what's going to happen, but the way that Daniel Craig narrated it, oh man, I'm excited. So what do I think about how many are we going to see? We're going to see five, six, like Daniel Craig's not young.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is he? He's got to be 50, right?
Yeah,
Or 40,
I think what he means is like if there's a story in the near
57.
future, he will continue it. And the thing is
Yeah,
that this isn't James Bond. This is Benoit Blanc. So his
right.
character's not as physically.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
Sherlock, but like still, you have Benoit Blanc. You kind of have to have him be the same guy, right?
yeah. I think it's okay and interesting to see him get like silver in age and like you see him get
Yeah,
enter his golden years. But at some point, he still has to be what your point is capable. And
right.
if he's too old to be believably capable, is it the point to stop? I liked what he said in the sense of like if a good story comes along, he's not just saying we're going to make a fourth one because we can,
Yeah,
which I think is the first sign of a good franchise. There probably will be a fourth one. In terms of Wake Up Dead Man, I love that it's getting back to that gothic feel and that the original tone. I feel like with the second one, I liked the second one. I didn't think it was nowhere near better than the first, and I don't even think it was the best Who Done It. But what I had the biggest problem with is I felt like it got too caught up in trying to be mysterious.
yeah,
Because the point is that it's like the way that I took the story is they told you who it was from the beginning, but then they
yeah,
tried to throw everything at you as if to say, "Oh, it's not him," but you knew.
yeah.
Like there was a pretty good twist with the was it the twins or
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yeah,
that was a pretty good twist. But the thing is that like it's one of those things that you just get dropped in. Like it's not like you necessarily have a lot of crumbs to lead up to that anyway. And that's what made Knives Out so good is that every little detail was there, and if you were really paying attention, you could have had the opportunity to figure it out. So when it was revealed, you were like, "Oh, I've seen this." Like that's when a thriller and a whodunit is great. Is when all of the details are just in front of you, and you know what I mean? Like you're trying to connect the dots. But it was like with the sequel, yes, it was a little bit more serious or silly and lighthearted, not serious. Um, it felt like they were trying to be that as well, but it's like they gave you too much. They gave too much away, and so it was just
yeah.
I don't know.
It was hard to follow for me. Just like it just seemed like a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't know, with the first one, yes, a lot was going on, but I could piece together the story. And I mean, I just had the inkling from the get just who it was.
yeah.
Now, did I know 100% for sure? I always had that doubt in my mind that, oh man, it's not going to be who I think it is. It's
It's too
never who I think
obvious.
it
It's
is.
too
Yeah.
obvious. Yeah,
Yeah. To me, it was too obvious. And I was like, 75%, I'm pretty sure it's that guy.
yeah,
Um, 25%, I don't know.
yeah,
But for the second one, I just felt like I had to try really hard to stay engaged with it. It just seemed a little absurd.
yeah,
Whereas the first one was actually, yeah, I could believe that. I can believe that happens. Whereas the second one, too absurd for me, I guess, and too off the wall,
yeah,
crazy stuff. Like I'm pretty sure someone gets shot and they live. It was very
yeah,
odd.
yeah. It was an interesting. I don't know.
So
I completely agree. So I'm happy to go back what we were saying. We're happy that the third's going to go back to form, but it's also is there enough substance for a continuation after that?
if there's a story, by all means, genre jump again.
No, don't do that.
No, no, Ryan doesn't like the genre jumps.
I don't. Don't do it. Leave it alone. Anyway,
Stay in your lane.
yeah. Tell your story the same every time. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
I want predictability
if I
and
if I cannot tell you what's going to happen before it happens, I can't handle it.
I don't like it.
I am
I
the
like
worst moviegoer ever.
Oh man, I'm gonna drop something on y'all before we even show you the trailers. But Hank Hill's like dancing to the song that tells him what to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I was like, I don't know what song is he listening to?
I'm sure we'll hear it here in a
Electric
little bit.
Shuffle or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
Shuffle, electric slide, something like that. He's telling him what to, two steps back, one step forward.
yeah.
It's like I just love songs that tell me what to do. It's like,
Well,
that's Ryan. Everybody, that's Ryan.
literally me. You're like that with Ryan Gosling, and I'm like that with Hank Hill.
It's not bad.
You'll see that after the break. So coming up after the break, that and legendary franchise reboot news, new trailers, and what you should know before you go. Stick around. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to segment 3 of Beyond the Screen. As always, when we get to this point, we get a little mushy. I get a little emotional sap. What can I say? And I just thank you guys for being here. I mean, as always, we're at an hour. Going into our third segment, we'll probably be over an hour and a half as normal. We do our best to try to bring this show time down, but we get caught up and we just have so much fun. I know we love doing this. This episode's not as seamless as our normal shows because I'm juggling a little bit more than what I normally am, and I apologize. I hope that my readings and my button pushing haven't gotten too distracting. But I appreciate you guys being here nonetheless. You are loved, and we thank you guys for allowing us to do this. Again, I do this with 2 of my best friends, and we're here just talking about movies and doing what we love, being creative. And the fact that you allow us to do that and have an audience for that, it blows my mind every time that we come here to do this and we get to this, especially this segment where I'm supposed to be sappy. But let's just this is an outlet for me and how I feel about it. So thank you guys. So with that, like, subscribe, follow, comment, tell your mom about it. You know she'll love it. And stick around for what's to come because we got some exciting things coming down the pike. But for now, we're going to hop into segment 3. So we're going to start in the realm of Disney. So according to rumors, Disney is interested in an Indiana Jones reboot with modern-day stars in mind. This is a little bit old because they might have heard a little bit about this, but there's so much swirling about it that we're going to go ahead and go over the entire thing comprehensively and take a look and see what we can figure out for moving forward. So, after the flop of the 5th installment into the Indiana Jones franchise with the James Mangold-directed Dial of Destiny, Harrison Ford officially announced his retirement from portraying the character after over 40 years. So the guy that is the face of the franchise, there is no one else, calls it quits after a terrible 5th film. And I don't mean terrible as in substance because I have not watched it, but terrible as in its return. Because the film pulled in $383.9 million on an insane budget of $387.2 million. How do you get to $400 million for an Indiana Jones film? I read that. My eyes popped out of my head when I read that number.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And I don't remember it being that good. I don't even know if I watched it. I think I did.
Jake's like, I don't know, man. Is it that forgettable that you might have seen it and you just don't remember it?
I forgot it came out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember
there was a film. I was like, was that the alien one?
Well, no, that's Shia LaBeouf. You got Phoebe Waller. Is it Bridges? I can't remember her name. Hyphenated names flip in my mind, so I apologize if I butchered that. But she plays the granddaughter of Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny, and Indiana Jones. They're like jumping back and forth from his past and his present, and so you see like a de-aged version, and it just doesn't look great. And so the film did not do well. Think about it. The film, almost $400 million budget with Harrison Ford and James Mangold, and it flopped. And it still pulled in almost $400 million at the box office. Only Disney.
Yeah.
So anyway, you might be asking, what's next? How do they move on from here? Well, according to the Disney news outlet, the Diz Insider, that is a real thing.
The Diz.
The Diz. I found it on IMDb. They're quoting sources that are pulling from this. So check the description if you want to read about it. The Diz Insider states, or reports, I guess, let rumors out that there are plans to keep the franchise going without Ford. According to the rumor, Disney is quietly, and that's in air quotes, developing a reboot to the franchise, which could see an announcement as early as next year's D23, which for those who don't know, that's their big expo where they announce their big projects for the following couple of years. They develop and they start pre-production, or they don't even start pre-production. They just say, we're going to do this, and they throw it out at D3 or D23 to show off. We could see it as early as next year, or at least the announcement of it. According to Diz Insider, quote, Lucasfilm is letting the franchise rest a bit before they do a full reboot of the franchise. Indiana Jones is still an iconic IP, and Disney/Lucasfilm do not want to waste that. So, Writer Dan Cooper of the media outlet Film Stories from the UK surmises that, quote, executives at the House of Mouse might point to Sean Connery being replaceable as James Bond and kind of enduring malleability as the 007 character. But, oh, sorry, excuse me, but perhaps hope that the James Bond character might ultimately possess. Sorry, I missed my point. But points out that that's probably not the same because they're not apples to oranges. I mean, like, they're more apples to oranges. They're not apples to apples. Indiana Jones has only had one character or one actor for 40 years of the character's life, where Sean Connery was replaced fairly early in the James Bond IP. So the idea is that they will try to pull from that. Jake, what do you think?
I don't think it'll be 007 because you kind of like you had said, you have to replace him with somebody. And when you say Indiana Jones, I'm not thinking of anybody besides Harrison Ford. I don't
Yeah.
think of anybody for Han Solo. I mean, they kind of did it with I don't even know his name now.
The dude from here, I'll pull it up.
Earlier one, the Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Um, but I got it. Alden, oh shoot, Aaron Reich, I think.
Yeah.
So I somewhat think of him, but Ford's got it. He's got it cornered. He's Indiana Jones. I don't think you can possibly change him out unless you start telling new stories from when he was young.
The
And I guess
thing,
that's what you have to do, right?
the
That's what they're
thing
gonna do.
is, I don't know. I think we're at a point to where the character is so indistinguishable from Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford himself, when asked, I think it was on the Tonight Show, he was straight up asked, "Who do you think? Have you heard of Chris Pratt potentially taking your place? Who do you think should take your place?" He said nobody. He said I think verbatim, quote me on this. Go and look. He said it dies with me, which is the most Harrison Ford thing to say.
Yeah, I've been seeing the memes or just the TikToks where it's saying me after Harrison Ford shot me when I asked if he'd sign my Star Wars action figure or something. Me after
Yeah.
Harrison Ford shot me.
Yeah.
Like it's just like crazy over exaggerations about like what Harrison Ford does to people after being asked about Star Wars or Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and again, Disney's hoping that character malleability that 007 possesses can transfer over to Indiana Jones. With that, there are some names being thrown around, and they're about what you'd expect from media outlets everywhere. Pedro Pascal, Glenn Powell, Chris Evans, Chris Pratt. I saw one list even contain John Krasinski from The Office. Um, it seems like a reboot's inevitable, Jake.
Oh yeah, it's Disney. You're gonna have the clinging by their fingernails to an IP.
Yeah. What do we
Thinking,
want out of a reboot, though? That's the question.
I want, dude. I don't even know. Just some. If you got to do it, it's gonna be young him with a new adventure that is so out of the box, but not like what with grounded. No aliens,
Yeah.
but it's got to be some kind of supernatural thing, or he's trying to uncover, or he's a professor, and I don't know. I don't know what I want to see out of it because, frankly, I'm Indiana Jones out. Like I said, I forgot about the fifth installment altogether,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So, what a movie lover I am! I don't even remember a film I watched.
From
But
what I had seen, there were questions about a Phoebe Waller Bridges adaptation
yeah,
moving forward, where like she takes up the mantle not of Indiana Jones, but a new character who continues on the expeditions and the adventures of her grandfather in his name, essentially. And
yeah,
this was from Yahoo, if I remember correctly. It's linked.
right.
Back then, Mangold said there was no appetite for it. That, in my mind, that's the only way you do it. Is you cannot just don't recast Harrison Ford. Make it someone in the Harrison Ford and the Indiana Jones family, and let them continue the adventures. Like I think there are rooms for an Indiana Jones like type of movie. I think you can keep it at Lucasfilm. You can call it the same thing, but like make something new. Don't just like this is one of the rare times where it's like don't. You can do it with Star Wars. You can do it with 007. It's not gonna work with Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I I think they're right in the sense that I don't think there's a palette for it. Um, we've seen it before, the gender swap and I don't know, the beloved character being, but
Well,
like
I
this is kind of its own, but I still don't think it would work out. I still don't think if Indiana Jones new character, regardless of gender, is going to work. I just don't think it will.
I think of the Ghostbusters when they had the and the thing is this is similar but not similar. It was with the all female cast, and I'm not saying that the female leads the problem. And this is where I think that a Phoebe led granddaughter of 007 story would have more feet to stand on because those were just random characters. But there's always talk about a female adaptation of a certain character, and that always gets shot down, or it doesn't necessarily succeed because they just make new, make
Yeah.
original. So and that's where again they're in a little bit of an awkward middle ground because technically that is a new character could, but is there appetite for it because they didn't get time to grow for the character. The only time you see her is in one of the worst in the franchise.
Uh, I mean, sorry, I'm looking up other examples, but Ocean's 8 didn't do very well
Yeah.
either. But that's you lost Clooney though. That's what I blame.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I don't let it die, I guess. I don't know how you tell the different.
I think this is where, because it's just cash cow.
Yeah.
Sometimes things find their end. And it sucks because like I'm a big fan of some big IPs, man. Like the joke about me and Transformers, it's not just a stereotype. It's true. I love Transformers. For all my audiences at home, this little guy sits and watches me work all the time. Love Transformers. I'm happy to see another one, but also we've seen so many of them. I would not be opposed to it taking a break. Like that's kind of the thing is that like you have to stop at some point. I'm a big Doctor Who
Yeah.
fan. They're at a pretty bad spot right now. Maybe it's time to give it 5 years. Anyway,
Is that how long it takes, Ryan?
no, but that's
5 years?
what I wouldn't want more than 5 years because I'm an emotional sap and I love the show even if it's bad. But anyway, we won't get into that. On that note, we'll go ahead and get into our last major story of the day. 20th Century Studios and Disney to remake Night at the Museum with Tripper Clancy attached as screenwriter. I will fight somebody if this happens. Technically, it's already happening, but I hate this. I cannot stand this. 21 Laps Entertainment is overseeing the still kept under wraps reboot with Sean Levy and Dan Levine set to produce. Tripper Clancy is known for writing Stuber, I Am Not Okay With This, Die Hart, and Die Hart 2, Die Harter. The franchise thus far has seen 3 live-action films from 2006 to 2014, starring Ben Stiller, Robin Williams, Owen Wilson, Ricky Gervais, and more, as well as an animated spin-off in 2022, which I had no idea existed until doing research for this because I only watched the live-action ones. Levy directed the first 3 films and will now produce the reboot. I've already given my thoughts. I think, and I'm going to stop giving my thoughts. I'm going to let you go because I have a lot of opinions on this. What do you think?
They can't replace Robin Williams. That's one of his thoughts. I know that. Owen Wilson could come back. Ben Stiller's getting old. He's showing a lot of gray nowadays. And I just say he's getting old because he's starting to look it, but I don't know how old he is. Really quick, Ben Stiller, age 59. So, but I don't think they're going to bring Ben Stiller back. Do you think?
Nope.
No.
I
Who,
doubt
do
it.
you know who it's going to be or
No, it's so
no?
early. They could bring back Ben Stiller. They could. They could.
Good.
I just doubt it.
He's the old guy now. Remember?
Who
And
hands
then he
off the
gets
keys? Yeah.
he gets arrested because he's now evil.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
I don't know if that'll how it plays out. But he's got to hand off the keys.
Yeah.
That might be how you end it. But
I just don't think you'll see Ben Stiller back. I just don't think if it's a reboot, they're probably gonna want to start fresh. You
that's how you start fresh.
you let
You
the
start with that.
old character. The way that I feel about it is as simple. It's as follows. Night at the Museum, while not, it is a plot point, or it is a period in the story that is Robin Williams' career, but it is a part of his legacy. And his legacy is so vast and so reaching that it's almost one that you don't want to mess up. You don't remake Mrs. Doubtfire. Like there are certain things you don't touch, and I feel like Night at the Museum should be one of them because that's some of his greatest performances. Like it's just his Teddy Roosevelt is just so like he is the guiding wise voice to Ben Stiller's. I can't remember his night guard's the main character name. I'm sorry. But like he is guiding him along the way through this journey as he's trying to learn his own life and deal with this whimsical and kind of outrageous scenario. And it's just like there is no Night at the Museum without Robin Williams in it.
Yeah.
And the love between him and Pocahontas, it's just like it is so it's another beautiful film, another set of films. And it is I saw that and I thought they're really going to do that. And like in the wake of yes, it's 11 or 12 years later. Who cares? Like there are some people or some stories that you leave alone for the legacy of the people who helped tell it. Robin Williams, a part of his legacy is Night at the Museum. Do not redo that because in my mind that is spitting on some of that legacy, and I think that is disgusting. And now I'm overreacting a little bit. I'm being hyperbolic, but I think I'm founded, and I will that I'm not going to say I'm going to. I don't know. I might not even watch it. I don't want to say I'm going to outright boycott it, but also like if and when it's made, I'm not going to be happy about it.
We'll just put Chris Pratt in the role. He's so he didn't like that.
It's
Would you
just
prefer Tom Holland?
I prefer nobody. How about that? I have made it
All right,
like
all right.
explicit. Anyway, any final thoughts on Night at the Museum remake?
I'm kind of curious, but that's where I'll leave it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious.
How? Oh, okay. We'll leave it.
I don't know. They might not even bring back Teddy at all.
I doubt. Well, it'll be different characters. I think it'll be all new, different everything. But it's just if they did recast Teddy Roosevelt, then it's exactly what I'm saying. But I think that it'll be at like the Smithsonian in like 15 years, and they will have replaced some of their attractions, and then they'll have new things in there.
Yeah.
And then like that's when you'll get Owen Wilson coming out as like the tiny cowboy. Like he'll come out
Or they get like a life size of Jebediah Smith,
yeah.
and then we'll see Owen Wilson just tall.
Yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not buying into that. Anyway, we have some trailers for you guys before we let you go. So we're gonna go through 4 of them. Wednesday season 2, the SpongeBob movie, which is what being called The Search for Square Pants. We have a Billy Joel documentary from HBO called And So It Goes, and a trailer for the new King of the Hill season 14 coming at you. So we're going to start in the world of Wednesday Addams and the Addams Family. We're going to show you I've got 15, 14 seconds here from the trailer. So from Netflix. So here we go.
This is the first time you've ever willingly returned to a school. How does it feel?
Like returning to the scene of the crime. I already know where the bodies are buried.
Any thoughts?
I have not seen season 1.
Oh.
But it is one of those ones that if like I ever have the downtime and I see it, I might start it because I don't hate it. Like there's nothing against it, but besides the people who idolize,
It got cringy for a while there.
it got a little weird how
Yeah.
much they like her. But so in this one, in the trailer, Jenna Ortega coming back as Wednesday and the whole family. She is presumably she has saved the day from season 1, the finale. I guess she saved the school or something like that. She is now idolized by the other students there, and as you know, Wednesday might be a little bit abrasive, and she doesn't like when people actively seek her out, come up to her, want autographs, and leave like all kinds of stuff on her dorm door. like praising her. Like you can imagine what Wednesday Adams is like
Yeah.
during that. So that's kind of what the trailer goes into, and then it tries to tell a little bit about the story. But I don't think it doesn't look bad at all. I think this is just the next step. Now I don't know how it'll pan out or what season 3 will look like, but I think season 2 is probably going to be pretty good. I'll have to watch season 1 and let you know what I think. But
I saw season 2 twice. And
season 2
or season 1 twice, sorry. If that doesn't show how much I enjoyed season 1.
in okay.
I watched it twice. I watched it once alone and then once with my family. Quick story time. I did not know. I mean, I figured you could get this as an adult, but it's not something you think about. When season 1 was around, right before it, I binged watched the whole thing because it's just so gripping. I don't want to spoil it for Jake, so I won't say too much about it. But it's very good about, you know how I was telling you earlier about the breadcrumbs and like how Knives Out.
Yeah.
It is that, but in a different font. It's very good.
Interesting.
Very unique, very interesting, and the characters are just so lovable. They did very well with the Addams family. I got RSV that year that it was coming out around the time, and which is the thing that most children get, like kids, like babies. I got it bad. I was very sick. It does not feel good. It hits you like a truck. I thought I had COVID. It felt like COVID. It wasn't COVID. It was RSV. So I went home and I was in college and I was rotting on the couch because I wanted to watch something and not be in my quarantine bedroom because I was no longer contagious. So my family came down and was like, let's watch Wednesday. So I watched it a second time and it was just as good the second time. So it is again, it's in that whimsical, like that realm of just absolute kind of absurdity, but also it is so like there's a school of just the others, right? Like you have your werewolves, you have your mummies, you have the Addams families, you have like all of them there together and they have their own little cliques and they have like what you'd imagine for like a boarding school, but then there's murder and there's like all this stuff going on. Murder. And so it's very interesting. I thought it was written really well. Tim Burton oversees that one. So I am ecstatic for season 2. I felt
But
like
not this one, right?
Well,
Not season 2, right?
I thought Tim
Is it?
Burton was still attached to season
He's still
2.
attached to it. I thought it said from Visionary, but I did not see that he
Yeah,
was
no,
writing
I'm
it.
pretty sure he's
Let me
still
look it up.
attached. Yeah.
Keep
But
talking.
no, either way, in terms of the trailer itself, I felt like it did a really good job of kind of alluding to like some of the things that went on in season 1 and not giving away too much for the second season's plot line. There are some characters who are not coming back. I know Billie Piper, who is of Doctor Who fame, is a character. We've seen some of her in there. I'm excited. I thought that the trailer did very well.
He is executive producer on the new,
I thought so.
and the first episode's already out. Did you say that?
No. Is it out?
IMDb says 1 episode released. Is that true?
I don't think so. Is it? It's kind of crazy.
No, August. Sorry.
Okay.
August 6th. Countdown.
Where have I been? Anyway,
Missed it.
yeah. Moving on down the line, we have SpongeBob: The Search for SquarePants.
The underworld! It's not for the faint of heart! Oh, my lucky brick.
The underworld.
Underwear? Underwear.
Ha ha
Funny.
ha.
Funny. The way I edited that was to make sure we got all the characters and kind of get a little bit of the story. But Mark Hamill as the Flying Dutchman.
Yes.
Or
I
the Dutchman.
I like the art style.
Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting, very cartoony. But the Bean Mouse, man, the Bean Mouse.
Yeah, it's gross.
But I thought the whole trailer has small moments in it throughout that are like the brick scene. And I think that is good for the parents who have to go and watch this.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Because this might be, which I don't even know if kids like SpongeBob these days or not. I know we do. We grew up with it, but I don't know if
Yeah.
kids these days do. But this could be Minecraft movie level of brain rot. And I like how they're putting in the scenes. Like, I don't have to spell it out for you guys. He crapped a brick out. Like, he's crapping bricks. Is the
He said, "Oh,
that's
my
the
lucky
joke.
brick." He picked it up,
Yeah,
put it
so-
back in his back pocket.
That's the joke. And I think from the rest of the trailer, and you should go watch it. They're riddled throughout the trailer of just small little jokes like that. Like Patrick
The
has
eye
an eye
patch.
patch over his private area, which is hilarious, and it's just small enough that like the kid won't think about it. But now that I'm old enough, I am now noticing those things, whereas like in other movies back when I was younger, I might not have. So
Yeah, it's interesting the dichotomy between what the show puts out and why they come out with movies. Because one might ask, like, why are they putting out a sixth movie in the 20 years, 25 years it's been around? And the answer is because they could do more with the animated movies. Think about like the adults who were kids when, like us,
yeah,
when the show was in its height. They can't do that and have as much creativity and cater towards that adult audience with the show and the new seasons coming out on Nickelodeon, because it's catered towards the brain rot that are children today. They have a much different sense of humor than what 90s and early 2000s kids had. So it doesn't relate. So when you see them come out with movies like that, you see that all of a sudden now the sense of humor is a lot smarter, but it's still kind of childlike. You never see that in the new stuff. Like you see the clips of the new stuff and it is absolutely ridiculous. Like it's so just dumb. But then you watch the trailer for this movie. It has good art. The jokes are kind of funny. Like, yes, there's still kid jokes, but it's like Patrick with the eye patch and the brick. And it's, again, you said riddled with these moments. And it's like, I am like, you know what? Like that actually is pretty funny. The last live action, or not live action, but the last film they did, I can't remember exactly what that title was, but where they went and they were on land and they got like whatever. That one wasn't bad either. Like it was in the same breath. And so it's like, this is how they pull back in that audience in how Nickelodeon and Viacom as a company, how they make a lot of money that way. And it's interesting to see that because it's not just a film adaptation of the show. It's a completely different feel.
right.
Like they have brain and the characters have more intelligence in the movies because they're catering towards the adult.
We're talking about SpongeBob here having intelligence.
Even if it still is. No, that's what's crazy. That's how different. When you see any of the clips or you sit down and you watch the new shows versus what you see in these trailers. So
my mom still probably doesn't like SpongeBob. To this day, she's like, turn that off.
Me and my family loved it growing up. It was just I cannot tell you how many times I reference SpongeBob in any given day. It is kind of bad, but it's just cataloged and locked in my brain. Like it's, I have been
The thing is like, I always thought it's like, oh, my mom's gonna think this is dumb. I'm just gonna turn it to another channel or some other cartoon that she thinks isn't as dumb. And so I didn't watch a lot of it. I was consuming the media and the memes on my phone once I hit middle school and high school, that I know all the references through that because people like Ryan are posting memes about it. I wouldn't say that I remember the references straight from the episodes. I actually remember them as clips.
I have the campfire song memorized.
Yeah.
Just off the rip. I like, you know how you brand cattle? SpongeBob branded my brain with quotes. That is how I am. And so I've ripped it off so many times. And a fun fact about the campfire song is written by Dan Povenmire, who is the guy who created Phineas and Ferb.
But he's awesome, dude. They have a song every episode. That's gonna be
hard.
Love
Dan Povenmire.
That's crazy.
He's so skilled, dude. He's also the voice of Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I know that's like obvious, but like, sorry, off topic, but I love that man. You know the meme of from Family Guy where they're roller skating and dancing to the music?
Yeah.
That was Dan Povenmire too. He did that. That was his scene. Brother is just legendary. Sorry, off topic.
Yeah.
Had
and
to
he's
go
awesome.
there.
TikTok presence. He's a wholesome
he's
guy.
Just so funny. Yeah, so sweet. Anyway, sorry. Back to SpongeBob. I don't know if I'll be watching it, but also it looks like it'd be something that I would watch. Like it's like, okay, this is back to what I know this to be. Anyway, we'll move on. Up next, we have a trailer for HBO's upcoming documentary series called Billy Joel and So It Goes.
Sometimes it's alien to me, this guy Billy Joel. I don't know who that is or what that is.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man.
I'm reminded of it when I go walk on the street.
You got us feeling all right.
Oh, right, I'm that guy.
He's that guy, folks. He's that guy.
I love documentaries.
I love Billy Joel. He's one of the great Billies. Have I told you about the great Billies?
No, tell me about the great Billies.
Billy Squire, Billy Joel, and Billy Idol. It's three great Billies.
Man, that came
or
straight from your
classic rock.
dad or something. That
No,
came.
I came up with that. It's
Okay.
mine. I hold those 3 Billies in high regard.
Okay.
All right. I love all their music. So,
Whoa, dude. I
but
apologize.
Billy Joel, this might be one that I actually go see. I did not see. I saw the Queen biopic, right? Or what was it? A biopic? Was it a
Yeah,
documentary?
it was a biopic. It was, but that
Yeah.
was with Remy Malik.
And then Elton John. I went and watched Rocket Man, or I didn't go see it, but I made sure to seek it out.
Now
And then this one,
now this is not a fictional, like this is not
right?
like this is a
This was a
documentary.
documentary.
Yeah.
But he's still alive,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
a big deal. And so this seems like a very good um, watch, like late at night or whatever. Like, I don't know, it's just one of those ones that great music, and it's just going to be captivating because I know there's some story there
Yeah.
behind Billy Joel, and I don't know a lot about his story. I just know he makes good music.
See, again, like I said off the rip, I'm a big documentary fan, so I'll probably watch it. I'm not a big. I like Billy Joel. I mean, he's a legend, but I'm not super well versed in him. He's just not my music type.
Yeah.
But like he's instantly recognizable. Like the second that clip played and the Piano Man, the first couple of beats
Yeah.
or the first couple of notes on the piano, I knew immediately it was the Piano Man. And I don't seek that out. It's just because he's so legendary. So
Right.
I had not seen, actually, this is the only of the 4 trailers we have. I hadn't seen the trailer for that. So immediately
Interesting.
gets me intrigued by it because I'd seen it kind of everywhere blowing up. And so I am interested. I love docs, and the way you talk about Billy Joel, I know that's probably just the normal fan like take on him, but
Well,
that gets me very intrigued to see his life story.
well, it's We Didn't Start the Fire, My Life, Piano Man, Uptown Girl, Only the Good Die Young, and Moving Out, Anthony's song are my top ones. And I know those are more mainstream, but it's because they're so good.
Yeah.
And it's still rock and roll to me.
They're cliche
Uh,
for a reason.
they're played a lot because they're good.
Yeah.
And they are overplayed, and some people will be like, it's Piano Man, skip it, But there are times, these are the songs that, like, yeah, just skip it, whatever. But there are times where you're driving, either alone or with people, and Piano Man comes on, or We Didn't Start the Fire, and you're singing along.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a reason, bro. It's good. It may be overplayed, but there are times that you just have to let it play,
Yeah.
and you're enveloped in it. And just the way that even Piano Man just sounds on the piano, and like live, even in the trailer, it just sounds. You can feel the emotion in Piano Man because it tells a story. There's not many songs that actually tell fluid stories nowadays, and Piano Man's one of them.
Yeah.
Because it just every character means something. Everybody can relate to that character.
Yeah. Sing us a song, The Piano Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're all harder than their luck in this bar.
Yeah. And on
So.
that note, we got one more trailer for you. That is for season 14, if I remember correctly, of King of the Hill.
Man, look at that Return of the Dang Old King, man. Bobby wants to bring that new girl over for dinner.
The vegan? What the hell am I supposed to feed her?
Can't we just put some grass in a bowl?
That's a perfect way to end that. So I've never actually sat and watched King of the Hill, and as I've gotten older, I've gotten a really deep appreciation for these animated types. So what was it? The series on Adult Swim very recently, Common Side Effects. That
Yes.
one is awesome. Like Smiling Friends,
Yes.
BoJack Horseman, like these more adult themed comedy like series that I just never really got into. King of the Hill is one of them, and it looks hilarious. And now it's back. And Jake, what do you think about the next season?
So if King of the Hill is on, and it's not like it's not my go-to, it's not my last pick, but like if it was on and I would just happen to be scrolling, I haven't found anything yet, I'm landing on it. Like, I just know it's going to be good because he's relatable enough. 14 seasons seems daunting. I have not seen all of them. I have seen some reruns, and it seemed like every time I opened one, it was some new story. But he's so relatable that I like how they brought back this season, and I kind of hope that they don't do more than maybe 2.
Did you hear the story to how they
Yeah,
brought him
yeah.
back?
So I know about what happened right when they announced it, but I think this is a good move to bring it back. And like where are they now, kind of like season and new happenings that make you resonate even more with Hank because he's so the way he is.
Yeah.
um, so I think this is a good move. I think it's going to work. I think people are going to like it. I already like it from the trailer. Um, and it's just like a whole new can of worms in today's world with Bobby grown up and his friends drinking beer, coping with the world as it is today. I just think that's so good and funny, and it's going to pluck a lot of people
Yeah.
because they resonate with that. I mean, Hank is just the everyday guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like, I had never seen it, but like you talked about earlier with like seeing the clips online and like living in that meme culture. I've seen a ton of them. I obviously, if you know anything about Hank Hill, propane, Texas, he yells at his dumb son Bobby, and he's got friends who go up on his absurd businesses. I have had pocket sand in my head
Yeah,
for
that's a
so
great one.
pocket sand. Like I've had that. There's like anyway, you know these
Dang old
things.
sand in the wind, man.
Yeah.
Dang old- the horror. The horror.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Like
just-
these quotes. So there's something about when I was watching, because they released the intro video before they released anything else about it. They announced that it was coming, and they announced like then they showed what the intro will look like. And I noticed that they moved away and then they came back. And I thought that was interesting because I was like, what was that about? So what happened? They announced that with the official release of the synopsis. So Hank and Peggy returned to Arlen, Texas after a stint in Saudi Arabia where Hank worked in the propane business. Bobby, now an adult, is pursuing his dream as a chef in Dallas. And that's where the story picks up. I might have to watch 1 through 13. Dude, I've watched Doctor Who. I can get over anything.
Oh my gosh. How many episodes is that?
Well, it's 30 minutes. It's probably 20 a season, maybe give or take, more or less. It's not bad. It's about Doctor Who length.
12?
Oh, cake! I could get through that. 13 seasons of 12 30-minute episodes?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Dog,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, nope. Season 2 picked up 23.
Okay, that's about what I expected.
Season 3 had 25.
Okay, again, give or take 20.
24 for season 4, so they found their
niche.
Right there, 20,
Yeah,
24.
mid-20s. That's again.
Season 5 is 20.
Yeah, if you put those Doctor Who episodes are about 45 minutes to an hour, so they have about 12 to 15 per season, so it's about the same.
And then 13. So 13 is the last we saw of them in 2009 at 24 episodes. And actually, I'm seeing season 14, which we've only seen released or said to be releasing season 14, episode 1 and 2, August 4th. And they're already saying there's going to be a season 15.
Good for them.
So, but what I'm saying is, I don't think it needs to be more than that. I think you let the story
let it die
end after 2, or do another 15-year stint or something, or he's super old.
Yeah.
Or it's Bobby with his kids doing the same thing.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad take either, because it goes back to what we were saying about allowing the story to continue and develop without harping on the same people. Like, we don't need to see a new Indiana Jones just move on with his granddaughter. Give Hank Hill his send-off and then go to Bobby. I could value, like, the idea of, like, how does Bobby raise his child with what he had to go through with Hank? Yeah.
And I feel like it would be flipped, where Bobby's son is more like Hank.
Oh, wouldn't that be hilarious? That would
Yeah,
actually be pretty funny. Having not seen the show, I think that'd be pretty funny. So with that, I think that is the end of our trailer segment. So we're going to end the show, as always, with final thoughts, what you should know before you go. So we'll go through, for those who are new here, we have 4 to 5 quick little snippets of stories that didn't really have enough substance to talk about at length. However, we wanted to make sure you knew about it because it is a part of the news cycle and it is worth discussing a little bit. If you liked what you heard today, please come back. I promise it's a little bit more smooth again. Trying to push buttons and read at the same time is with 2 screens and multiple different little windows is a challenge. And I apologize for any hiccups you might have experienced along the way, not just in terms of visual effects for our YouTube watchers, but also for our audio listeners and me going up to butt. So thank you guys for sticking around this long. And we're going to let you go after these quick, what you should know before you go news segments. So first off, Guy Ritchie parts ways with Roadhouse sequel project. Amazon MGM to forge ahead with fall production schedule despite not having yet named a replacement. Jake Gyllenhaal is still attached as of today. Chris Pratt will return for a sequel to 2024's The Garfield movie. We're going to get another one. Tom Holland states that Chris Nolan's The Odyssey is the best film he has ever starred in, and that Spider-Man Brand New Day will focus on shooting in real locations and using, quote, old school filmmaking. So those types of techniques, which is going to be interesting, more down to earth, like everything's been kind of insinuating it would be. A24 to bring back Ne Zha 2, the $2.2 billion Chinese film, to American cinemas. I don't know, man. They just, I don't know, man. And lastly, we get our first look at Dominique McLaughlin. I got choked up there. As Harry Potter. Which one of those catches your eye? Because I think I know.
Did we get a photo?
Yes.
Run it.
Oh no, I don't have it in here. Sorry, it was released, but I could easily run one.
No,
Hold
I
on.
got it. I got it. I
Easy.
got it. I got
Throw
it.
that
I
thing
got
in
it.
there.
I got it. I got it.
Throw the thing in there.
Oh, there you go. Present.
Bam!
Wow.
Our audience at home can see it.
Look, yeah. So if you're on Spotify, definitely pull it up. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. What
He's
a cutie.
adorable.
He is.
Adorable little
I'm
British
actually
boy.
super excited. I did point out that I think his scar is in the wrong spot, but Ryan's gonna be like, he's just a kid. He's just a
But
kid.
he is!
Don't be mean to him.
Leave
Don't
him
be mean.
alone!
Leave him alone. No, it's I really like what I see here. So I look forward to it. Now that I see him, I'm like, oh man, I hope they don't go like super dark because this needs to be lighthearted fun with a little bit of danger, but can't be nothing like a snake going around killing people.
Bro, what's interesting about, so this happened today. I shared it in our group chat and I said immediately, because the first thing that happened, I sent it into the group to be like, okay, like I read this, I'll come back to it later. We'll talk about it tonight. Jake immediately, scars in the wrong spot. And I was like, this poor kid. All I said, because I read the comments. So I come across the post from name that outlet it was out like 2 minutes after it was posted, and all the comments were negative. And what was interesting is from the time I sent it and had that quick back and forth with Jake, it was about 10 minutes. When Jake got to the comments, they had all flipped to positive. So in real time, you saw the waves of people come in. I thought that was really interesting because when I first got to it, there was a lot of negativity, and I was like, man, this poor kid. But that I'm happy to see that there's a lot of positivity around him as well.
It's not that it's necessarily in the wrong spot. It's too far towards his temple than it is above center eyebrow. So Ryan, if you could take off I'll show you. It's supposed to be here-ish, like
Yeah.
button up, and I'll make it with my sunburnt forehead here. It's over here on the new guy.
Jake touches his forehead and it just leaves like an imprint.
Yeah,
Noticeable.
yeah.
Yeah. But no,
that's all I had to say. Otherwise, I like it.
I'm bringing him back. I'm bringing him back up. Look at him. He looks like it's spooky how similar to the art he looks.
Yeah.
It is scary how source accurate he is.
And here's the next thing. And I'm taking up a lot of y'all's time, but Ryan, can you see that? That is what he normally looks like.
Sorry, excuse me. There it is.
Sorry
Bro!
for the
Daniel Radcliffe.
But that's what he looks like normally, and so the transformation is crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of worried, but first look at him now. Awesome. So I look forward to it. I'm sold. I still want to see Snape. Show me Snape.
How does he do it?
De-handsomify him. They can't do it. They cannot do it.
I love that your argument is he's too hot. Like
He's not. He's supposed to be greasy.
I'm sure he's gonna do a great job. And I for one am interested to see how they expand. We've talked about this, how they expand more of the lore. But with that, there's really, I think the only other thing that's interesting here is, I mean, Tom Holland, but it's just more of the same. That's kind of what we already know. We could have guessed that Odyssey would be the best film he feels like he's ever been a part of, and that Spider-Man, we've heard that it's going to be more practical, more down to earth. So with that, unless Jake, you have anything to add, that's probably the show.
I mean, with the new Spider-Man being down to earth and shot like with old filmmaking techniques, I think it's just better because of the circumstances he's in.
Yeah.
He's now the neighborhood Spider-Man once again, and he actually gets to live out, and we get to see this broke Spider-Man's broke again.
Yeah!
Everybody's praying on his downfall, and then we get broke Spider-Man. It's like, man, I wish Spider-Man had more money. And it's just that curve that
Where's the
runs.
cool tech?
Yeah. Nope. Sorry, not gonna happen. So I look forward to that. But that's all I gotta say.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, you've made it through Beyond the Screen. Thank you guys so much. We're getting close to episode 50. We're not quite to 40 yet. We're at like 37 or 38. But the fact that we have been here for almost 50 straight weeks, or around that, to tell you guys the film news and that you guys have stuck around with us that long is insane. So
coming up on it.
Yeah.
What should we do for our anniversary, guys? 52 weeks in. What do we
Let us
do?
know. Just know also, I feel like I allude to it every week. We've talked about expanding content. We've talked about cool, interesting holiday themed events to go around for the Beyond the Screen team and for content. So let us know what you'd like to see. Keep your eyes open for what we got coming out for some changes down the pike. But on that note, thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you guys next week.